This is the plaintiff, Thomas Abin. He says he hired the defendant, a contractor, to do a much-needed flooring job in his house, and the clown ruined the place. He had to redo the whole job. The defendant should be ashamed of himself for pretending to be a flooring guy, because what he did was a complete abomination. He's suing for $3,000, the amount he's out. This is the defendant, John Drake. He says he's been in the business for 20 years and he's never, ever come across a customer like the plaintiff. Nothing can make this guy happy. The plaintiff's just being a pain in the neck, is looking for a free job, and he's not giving him a penny. No way, no how. He's accused of fouling up a floor.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket, the plaintiff says the defendant wrecked his floor when he was supposed to make it better. But the defendant says in 20 years he's never dealt with such a jerk. It's the case of you give bad wood.
Your Honor.
Okay, Thomas
Abin,
you are suing John Drake, your former contractor, for $3,000, your state maximum, for negligently completing some construction work at your house. Tell me what happened.
That's correct, Your Honor. As part of a home improvement project, we were redoing some floors in my house. And the scope of the project was to remove the current tile floor, all the baseboard in those rooms, take the appliances out of the room, put down 3/4-inch solid wood flooring. I was to provide the flooring. The contractor was to do the work, install the flooring, seal it, and return the appliances back to their original position. And that was not done.
You hired him, and how did you find him?
That's correct. We interviewed several contractors, and we found John
How did you find him?
On Craigslist.
Craigslist makes the world go round. All right, so it's not the best way to get a recommendation, but okay. So you hired him from Craigslist, at least you interviewed a few people, and then had that work out for you not so good?
Not so good.
Okay, and so you have a contract with him?
Yes.
May I see it?
Yes.
Okay, so you hire him to do it, and you pay him how much?
I gave him $1,000 upon the first day of starting the work.
Okay, there's no dispute about that, right?
No, that's correct.
Okay, so the estimate's for 2020?
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay, and then what happens?
The next day, two other gentlemen showed up who I never met before, who were subcontracted, I believe, by Mr. Drake to do the work. And they said they've never met him previously. And they spent 4 days at my house, tearing up the house, never completing the work. And then
Not what?
Never completing the work.
As in they didn't come back, and what stage did they leave it at?
They left by finishing the demolition, putting down the hardwood floor, doing some sanding work, and put one coat of finish on there.
And so how did they not complete the work? What was remaining to be done?
Well, the floor was supposed to be sealed with multiple coats, which wasn't complete. There was never any cleanup, and the baseboard molding that was supposed to be taken off was never returned and was destroyed during the demolition work. Additionally, the floor buckled up. So some of the wood had to be taken back up, reapplied, all resanded.
Do you have
and
pictures of this?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
May I see them?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Who were these two guys?
I did the same thing because my normal wood refinisher couldn't do it that day, so I went to Craigslist and
You gotta be kidding me.
I swear to God.
Yeah, but that's not funny. You're
No,
supposed to
but
be an
serious,
expert. You're supposed to have people at your fingertips.
Right.
You're not supposed to be a desperate
But I
homeowner
already did-
randomly looking for someone to fill in a job.
I already did the rip up, so I wanted to keep the job moving. And as of the first day when I did the rip up and move the furniture, I talked to his wife and I said, these guys look competent to finish the job. And she said, yes, they did.
How's his wife going to know? She's not in the business. It's you
Because they
that's
were
got to
old
know.
guys. They look like
what
they're
happened?
experienced.
Did you ever look at the job they did?
No, I didn't go back because the first thing the guy, they called and says he has to rent stuff for him and this and that. And I said, that's fine. Take it off what you got to pay him.
Wait, why does he have to rent stuff? Why aren't you guys bringing what you need?
No, I wasn't. I was responsible for the whole job, but I subbed that part of it out.
I understand, but do you think that
Right.
when you choose to sub something to two yahoos from Craigslist, that no one's going to
Yeah,
ask
they
you
should
why
have
don't
their
you
own
have
tools,
tools?
correct.
Right. So now, so the guy has to go out
Because
and
they were just, the first day I was there, they were just there to do the nail down. And the baseboard was never an issue. On the contract, it says 1/4 round, doesn't say baseboard, so that was never supposed to come off.
But who took him off?
The
yahoos
guys that
you
were there.
hired?
Correct.
Okay, well then we come back to you, don't we? So I don't understand. Did you pay these guys?
I didn't. That was the agreement with them. You pay me the first half, and you're going to take care of these guys.
But not when
paying
you
the
have a
second.
contract that you're supposed to supervise. You do know what subcontract means, right?
Correct.
Doesn't mean you get to
Yes.
run off to the next job and take the next deposit.
Correct.
It means you're supposed to supervise what's going on and make
Right.
sure that competent employees of yours are there,
Correct.
and not two people that you pick going, boom, these guys.
But at
I mean,
the
we don't
same
expect
time,
you
he's
to
not
do
supposed
that.
to pay them if he didn't like the job and then hire somebody else after. If he didn't like their job, he shouldn't have paid them.
You
should be
gave him
suing them,
$1,000
not me.
bucks.
That's correct, Your Honor.
You paid the workers $1,000 or $800.
I paid them $1,000, 200, and then 800.
Why did you pay them if the job was bad and they hadn't completed it?
The major reason, Your Honor, was to end them coming to the house.
Why?
There was enough disruption to my life. I had to leave the home, and enough was enough.
Wait,
already.
but according to you, they had left your house. Like they didn't come back and finish. So that doesn't
Well,
sound
they
like
came
you
to me-
wanted them out. That's why you paid
they
them.
came
It
to me
seems like you paid them and you wanted them back, and that didn't happen.
What they informed me, Your Honor, was that they were not to reinstall the baseboard or the appliances or the quarter round. That the only thing that they were to do there was to finish the demolition.
So why'd you pay them so much?
That's what
Because
they
you
told
paid
me
them
to
almost
do.
the rest of the balance of the contract, where
did,
you
Your
know
Honor.
that you have a contract with him that for $2,020, you're going to have everything clean and put back in place. So even if you expect him to come back and put the stuff back in place, why would you just pay them whatever they asked for rather than waiting to make the second payment until everything's done?
I was hoping that John would come and complete the job, Your Honor.
Oh, so you paid him first and then hoped later? How'd that work out for you?
Not so well. That's why I'm here.
Right. And how'd that Craigslist thing work out for you?
Not so well.
Okay, this is kind of interesting. Who do you think is more difficult to deal with, the homeowner or the contractor? What do you think?
The homeowner.
What do you say?
Because we want to make sure that we get our money's worth and everything goes the right way.
Has to be just so.
Exactly.
Okay, what do you think? What are you guessing?
The contractor.
Why?
Well, because they have to fit the Okay, well, because once my mom got the house done and the contractor was not very cooperative, and then the house didn't work out well, and it was because the contractor wasn't doing what my mom said.
Oh my God, really?
I swear.
Oh my God, swear to God. Going inside the courtroom.
You paid him $1,000, you paid them $1,000, and you spent $1,400 on tools?
Tool rentals and miscellaneous. Yes, I had to rent the sanders.
No. Okay, so if you have a contract with this guy to take care of everything for $2,000, why would you spend $3,500 to take care of everything?
Your Honor, I was looking to get a job completed. And I realized at that point that there was going to be a problem with this. And I did reach out many times to John to try to get clarity and say, look, this isn't working out. But when you're halfway down, I had two choices, either to end it and throw them out or to pay additional money, get the job done, and then try to recoup it.
May I see your receipts for $1,446.73?
Yes, Your Honor. I have several pages of receipts.
I don't understand. Does he call you and say, hey, I got to pay $1,500 for tools?
I got the lawsuit like a week and a half later saying I'm being sued. He called me and said he had to rent the tools for the guys. I said, okay, I didn't know that. Take it off of what you owe him. Plain and simple.
It's not that plain and simple, because once again, you keep trying to wash your hands of
No,
and
you're
you can't.
absolutely
You can't
right.
just tell them, take it off of them and then move on to the
No,
next
you're absolutely
dance.
right.
That's not how it works.
Those are the original.
I can't read this. What is this? They don't have a nail gun? Get
Correct.
out
I
of
didn't
here.
have a nail gun.
They had two the day I was there. I don't know maybe they broke. I don't know.
What is this 1,200 and 1,185? The actual oak floor, but the oak floor you were always supposed to provide.
Correct. That was I was supposed to
So
provide
why are
that.
you suing him for that? Are you suing him for
No,
that?
I'm not suing him for that.
Okay,
that was
I
just-
asked for the receipts that you're suing for. Okay. Your receipts come up to $389.45, not $1,446.
There's additional costs I incurred, Your Honor, for staying in a hotel room due to the...
You're suing for that separately. You're suing for an additional $516 for staying in the hotel. So we'll get to that when we get to that. Now show me the pictures of what they did wrong. Incomplete coverage and damage to walls. Uncoated areas of floor plus damage to walls. Okay. Did you pay somebody to come in and put a second coat of the polyurethane and fix the baseboards?
I had someone come in, yes, and redo the floors. That's correct.
What did they have to redo about the floors? You mean just the finish?
the floors actually started to buckle. So they had to pull boards up and then reapply them.
Do you have other pictures to show me, or is this it? Because do you have pictures of the buckling? You don't have that.
I have a picture on my phone, Your Honor.
Okay, yeah, I'll see that. That's a picture. Did he ever call you and tell you, look, this is a problem, you need to come back, you need to fix this, you need to do this?
I never heard about the buckling in the floors or anything. I heard that he had to rent tools for the guys, and that was the only problem I ever heard.
Okay.
And I said, take it off their pay.
Well, it's, yeah, okay.
And the baseboard wasn't supposed to be removed. The contract says quarter round only.
Right, but that's
So
a
if the
problem
walls got
on your
damaged,
guys.
that was whoever took it off.
Yeah, your guys.
That shows a picture of the
That
buckle.
Whose
he
guys
paid.
are they?
That he paid.
Yeah, I understand he paid them, but he paid them is just a foolish thing because now the money's out of his pocket. You hire him is a foolish thing because the
Correct.
money's about to be
Yeah.
out of your pocket.
Yep.
See, you can't wash your hands. Yeah, it's buckling. Wow, that's bad. Can I see your receipts for the hotel stay? Is that what's up here?
That's
Now, when did these guys go do the work?
August.
15?
Correct.
Okay, this other guy didn't come in to do the work until September 9th. If on August 15th you're leaving because of the work that those guys were doing. So why is he going to pay for that? That was never part of your deal. Why does he have to pay for it now?
No, Your Honor, the receipt in your left hand was due to the fact of the work that John's crew did. The receipt
No, but
was
that's
done.
wait, stop. You had to leave because you were going to leave while John's crew did work, but John never agreed to pay you to leave.
I left because the room was not properly sealed or cleaned up. And the sawdust.
Yeah, but you didn't get, you're not being honest with me because you didn't get, according to your other little receipt, which is just a piece of paper you could have written on this morning, that job wasn't done until September 9th. And this hotel's for August 15th. I'm not giving you the hotel.
Your Honor,
Yeah, you know what? I've been doing this a long time, my friend. I see when someone's trying to inflate their claim, and that's what I think is happening with you. What I'm going to order is what I believe would be the fair market value of somebody coming in, putting a second coat, and putting back the baseboards, and maybe, I guess, cleaning up. And also, what it would cost to rent all those things, which you shouldn't have had to rent because that wasn't part of your deal. This is where we do a little what?
a little rough justice.
Rough
Your Honor.
justice.
Oh, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, rough justice. You never want the rough justice.
Nah.
All right? And I'm ordering you to return to the man $889.45. That is my judgment.
All right, both sides hold it right there, please.
So the flooring guy comes out first, and how did the rough justice work out for you in there?
I mean, he honestly shouldn't have got anything. So, I mean, give him something for the tool rental that he should have took from the guys that did the job.
All right, when you subcontract out and you hire the
Normally,
guys.
I never have problems.
Well, you did. And so when you do, who's responsible ultimately?
Me.
Right. And so you were in the courtroom arguing otherwise.
No, because he paid him. Shouldn't have paid him.
Well, that wasn't the question.
If he wouldn't have paid him, I would have came back and took care of everything.
Okay.
Because the guys would have been bugging me.
All right, you head this way, and let's see what the plaintiff has to say about collecting $889 and some change, and you sued for a lot more than that.
That's correct. I was a little disappointed in the fact of some of the other costs, but I'm happy.
That's what happens when you try to inflate your claim.
The claim was uninflated.
No, well, judge thought otherwise. So how's the floor now?
Today's fine. The other guys came in, did a nice job, so I'm happy.
Okay, Harvey?
Okay, there's something in just about every state. It's called a performance bond. When you hire a contractor, if they're licensed, they have this bond, and if they screw up the job, you can actually go and you can get the money from the bond. It's like an insurance policy. You should make sure, A, that your contractor is licensed, and B, make sure he has a performance bond.